Hello and welcome to Origin of Concepts. And for new viewers, my name is Thomas, and my interest is to guiding you to understanding the origin of most of the ancient mysteries. So let's get started. I'll just take on my reading glasses. Okay, there you are. The Milky Way was the ancient society's greatest storyboard and vision for the deepest insight. But in our times, it is mostly observed as a white fog in the night sky. However, the Milky Way is a cornucopia of great inspiration, forming the foundation of the ancient world's famous myths and concepts since the dawn of civilization. In the past, the Earth wasn't illuminated by official light, so the center of the Milky Way appeared very clear in the night sky. It resembled a spectacular light show of the galaxy's creation. Yeah, it does. If you gaze at the clouds in the sky, you are able to create all kinds of shapes with your imagination. But their constant shifting and disappearance made them unreliable. You couldn't attach any story to the cloud because it was gone in 5 seconds. So therefore, the Milky Way center, however, remained unchanged, providing a very reliable source of storytelling. Stars and planets were too unpredictable and therefore mainly played a secondary role. So the Milky Way was the shit, and the stars and planets and sun and moon and stuff like that was like secondary, not so important as many think. But naturally, ancient cultures were unaware of galaxies, and their metaphysical concepts were limited to observation made with the naked eye. The light from the Milky Way center provided the starting point for creation theories, because it's the only place in the visible universe with eternal light. Or should I say, the eternal flame. Yeah. Okay. It's food for thought, considering today we know scientifically that the entire physical world originated from the galaxy center. That's a fact. And the galaxy center is the same as the center of the Milky Way. Interestingly, the ancients also used the Milky Way center to their basic understanding of the cosmos. I think that's a funny thought. There's something about the Milky Way, right? Okay. And let this sink in for a moment. Most of us know that light from a star is traveling billions of years before we are able to observe it. And then we don't even know if the star still exists, because we only see the light. The same principles can be applied to the Milky Way center. So what we basically observe is the creation itself. So when you stand looking at the Milky Way, which is pretty much impossible today, but then you actually see the creation of the physical universe we live in. And that was exactly what the ancient cultures did. So, many ancient cultures around the world share similar stories and myths, even though they never interacted. By understanding the structure of the Milky Way, you will uncover its mysteries and witness firsthand the physical manifestation of global, mythological, and religious concepts. Once you've seen it, you can't change it. The ancient cultures built their understanding of cosmos and creation on a very simple understanding of nature. The trinity of mother, father, who manifest a physical child. I think we all have heard stories about a mother and a father getting a child, right? This is like the main substance, the beginning of thinking. Okay. The ancients, or this concept, was applied to every aspect of the physical and non-physical universe, and therefore it was also applied to the Milky Way. Great. Okay, let's map the Milky Way so you actually know what I'm talking about. We try something new and give you a map. This is the center of the Milky Way. This is the main spot we have to explore. I'll try to make some drawings on the run and see if things work out. Yeah, that was. Okay, so the ancient put the idea of the Trinity as the base of creation into the Milky Way. So the topic is the Trinity of the Milky Way. The center of the Milky Way, what we see on the image, was divided into 3 units, representing the aspects of Mother, Father, and Son. The Trinity in the sky is represented by 2 shadows on each side on the glowing disk in the center, and a striped shadow emerging below the disk. Let me outline those shadows so you can see what I mean. It was the first. And here we got the disk, the center. And here comes a little. I have to be very careful to draw this. In a moment you'll see why. I think I got to do like this. And like this. Yeah, bingo. So let me explain. The Father is the shadow to the left of the disk. This shadow. The shadow to the left of the disk, also known as the Great Rift of the Milky Way, is the Father unit. The shadow looks like a long beard, which is associated with the masculine father figure. The head or spirit of the Father is the disk. And maybe you already got some ideas of some cultures in the world with people wearing long beards. Maybe some pharaohs or Muslims. Or how about the Jews? Or maybe the Vikings and Greek philosophers. Long beards have a simple value. Just to let you know, and I'll get into this in a later video. Okay, let's move on to the mother shadow, which is on the right side of the disk. The grayish shadow to the right of the disk is the mother. The shadow has the shape of a female figure standing with crossed legs, which representing the maternal, feminine mother figure. Her belly is the Milky Way center, containing the light of the disk, also known as the cosmic womb. Have you heard about the cosmic womb? I bet you does. Her long red or black hair is represented by the shadow to the left of the disk, same as the father's beard. So, in many myths, this is the woman's hair, red hair or black hair. Or maybe you know some mythological red-haired figures. I think I can count a couple of, or maybe 10. Okay, and then we come to the sun, which is the disk. The sun is the disk in the Milky Way center. The golden glowing disk in the center is the point of creation, where spirit manifests into the earthly world. The light emerging from the disk embodies the mother and father spirit, entering the earthly world as a physical sun. And this is the light of the world. I don't know. Do you know any persons named Light of the World? Maybe you do. And just to make it absolutely clear, we are not talking about that sun, the sun in the sky. It's the human sun or the spirit of man or sun. Okay. The disk and the surrounding area also serves the role as Earth itself. And the bluish, greenish area surrounding the disk represents the sky, a firmament containing the sun, moon, and constellations. So, let me pick another color. So, the ancients saw this area or used this area as the firmament above the earth, with all our planets and stars and sun and moons and so on. Okay. This disk is the island in the night sky from which everything originates and ultimately perishes. So, to finish the Trinity idea, the mother and father creates the sun, and when the physical sun or physical things have ended the cycle, it goes back to the center. So that is the whole of the Trinity. And by the way, father and mother and son shares the spirit in the disk. It's the spirit. And that's what's come up now, because now we got the spirit son, spirit mother, and spirit father. And now we get to the physical sun, which emerge from the disk. The physical sun is the striped shadow beneath the disk. The striped shadow emanating below the disk, representing the connection or gateway between the physical and divine worlds. It's the gateway or stairways to heaven, so to speak. The striped shadow also plays the role as a swaddling blanket around the newborn baby. So let's take a look at the swaddle around the newborn baby. I will remove some of my drawings here. The baby head is the disk. And this striped shadow here is the swirls around the baby, the newborn son. So here you got him. And let me see what's more important here. This shadow, the striped shadow, I will clean the image so you can see exactly what I mean. This shadow here, with all the pillars or stripes, is one of the most important elements of the Milky Way center, which you will learn along the way. So many stories is built on this specific part in the Milky Way. Okay, the Milky Way center also plays other important roles we will find in the myths around the world. Let me give you some examples. The Milky Way center also plays the role as the mountain in the sky. The shadows here surrounding the disk forms a mountain. And inside this mountain we got a cave here. And inside the cave you got the light of the spirit. Let that sink in for a couple of seconds. Maybe it give you some associations to something you have read before. But that's the mountain in the sky. And next, in a lot of myths and religious stories and concepts around the world, we have like mythological worlds and lands and towns and places in the mountains and all that stuff. So therefore I will draw the magical land in the Milky Way. The center of the Milky Way play the role as a celestial land between two mountains where two rivers meeting. Okay, let's start drawing the two mountains. Here you got the first mountain, and here you got the next mountains. Oh. And the two rivers meeting is like this river, the shadow here from the left, and the wild river from the right. And they of course meet in this they meet in the lake, which is actually like here and here and here. This is the lake surrounding the island. Okay. All right. I'll remove it again so we can go on. Between the mountains lies a small island with a temple surrounded by water. And here we got the island, of course we do, surrounded by water. It's most in the upper part but I'll draw it like this. Across the riverbank, here, you find a city with city walls. The city is the striped shade. It's small houses and towers and lights and what you need for a city in the sky. And this is also the city wall. And The stripes also represent the cattle, because the shepherd tend his cattle in the fields of the mountains. And this area here, and here for that sake, is the fields of the mountains. And on the mountain side rests a cave. So let's remove all this and draw the cave. It's on the background in the mountainside. Okay, if you have to access this land in the sky, or this divine land, it could only happen by sailing into the harbor, use a staircase, or walking through the desert. Here we got the desert. Here we got the staircase, or you can use a ladder if you like. Or you can sail in from the sea into the harbor, like this. And with this information, we set the fundamental understanding of what to look after. So for you who want to understand this concept, this is the cornerstone of our foundation to start our journey through the origin of concepts. So in the next videos, or basic in all videos from here, I will use this picture and I'll show you all the stories unfold in this single image. I will try to, I have another picture, maybe I can open it so you can see it. Give me a second here. Yeah, perfect, it works. Here I make a more detailed drawing. So I'll let it stand here for a second so you can see. But this is basically how the ancient imagined a world in the sky and combined it with our world to get some basic understanding of things. Okay, I think that's the end of today's lecture. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like my content, give me a thumbs up. If not, feel free to ask me to eat a rotten tomato. Remember, knowledge must always flow free. However, any donations are greatly appreciated so I can buy a pizza. The link is in the description below. And from here, I'll just say take care and see you in the next video. Bye bye.